everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? We're going to let this get out there. I am live today on, first of all, can y'all hear me okay? Put some hearts in the chat. Now, this is what I did today, y'all. So over there on X, hi. I actually have my screen up today so I can chat with y'all easy peasy lemon squeezy. Um, yay, I can chat with y'all today. Okay. Anyway, it's little things that make me happy. Hello, hello. Hey, Volvo to love. There's so many ways I could think about that. You go, I'm on X, I am on YouTube, and I am on Facebook. So hopefully I can see everybody's everything from everywhere. How are y'all doing today? Happy Thursday, Jace. Hello, my friend. Hello, Babita. Hi. Nice. Oh, I'm so glad. It's been a while since I've seen you. I hope everything is going well over there in the UK. Let me just type really quick. Hello, X viewers. Hopefully, they see that over there. Okay. I'm not going to hold y'all. I have got a lot going on today, and I wanted to chat with you a little bit. Now we may come live in about another 2 hours, because there's some energetic things I want to get into, and I'm not quite sure how y'all feel about that quite yet. But you all that don't, hey TB, how you doing? That don't know me yet, you will get to know me. So today is October the 10th, 2024. Let me tell you now, I don't want nobody to get offended. I don't know if I need, I am here like, oh please, please, please. Oh, thank you. Listen, the sage needs to be saging. It has been, the energy needs to be cleared, honey, child. We got a lot going on. Ooh, this sage doesn't even want to burn. That's bad when the sage don't want to burn. We got problems when the sage does not want to burn. Probably don't want to burn from that end. We're gonna burn it from this end on this here big old thing of sage. Listen, I don't know about you, but I have had it with all these energies, and I have had it with all the monkey mess. When I tell you last night after my spiritual life coaching class, honey, ooh, don't burn. Don't burn me. After my spiritual life coaching class, let me tell you what I did last night. I went ahead and I lit some candles, and then I played some meditation music, and I meditated and prayed um, in regard to Milton, that hurricane yesterday. And I was so glad to see that, the eye wall dropped and everything. Like, it was crazy, all the things that happened, just so that, there wasn't as much damage as there probably should have been. This, by the way, babies, this is my frankincense and myrrh incense. I get that from the African store right here in Greensboro, North Carolina, North Kakalaki. And ooh, you can also use oh my God, you can also use one of these to light your incense. Anyway, and I know there was a lot of people praying. The miracle that happened as a result of that is pretty amazing. All right, I've let people get in here, so we're gonna start talking. Okay, let's start having some conversations. But I needed to turn this incense on. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about here is on the docket. The first thing on the docket is Diddy. The first thing on the docket is Diddy and the bail situations. Diddy and the bail situations. So let me pull up Diddy bail hearing. We're going to pull up just a real quick, in case you had not heard anything as of yet. Let me find something here. Okay, hopefully CNN will let me do what I need to do. All right, here we're going to share this screen. Okay, guys, we're going to share this screen, and let me, because the judge has also set the trial date, which I find very interesting as well. So here we go. So judge sets trial date in Sean Diddy Combs racketeering and sex trafficking case. Let me blow this up a little bit for you guys so all of you can read it. Musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs, who is charged with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution, will go to trial in May 2025. Now, if you all are not following inner city press on X, he's always at every hearing. And as you know, federal hearings, federal trials are not televised. They are not televised. A lot of the states will have a televised situation, but federal trials are not. I think we need to make some sort of ruling on that because I want to see these federal trials. So he's in their inner city press on X. So the judge did set a trial date for today, from not today, from May 25th of 2025. I feel like I said that. But anyway, I think I said the last time we talked about whether when he got arrested, I said he was definitely going to make it. He wasn't going to get Epstein, and he was going to make it through to the spring. So if everything holds, he'll probably go to trial. He's pled not guilty. He was present, and as were several of his family members. From what we hear, you know what? Please stop. His mother and his daughters, I believe, were there, as well as other family members. He was shackled, wearing a loose-fitting tan button-down shirt and khaki pants, which is the standard, jail garb for the federal folks in the MDC. The prosecutor, Emily Johnson, said that the prosecution anticipates its case could last only 3 weeks, but added that a superseding indictment could affect the length of the trial. So, meaning additional charges or defendants could be added to the case. If you all may recall, this case is set up as a racketeering kind of a RICO conspiracy case, but he's the only one named right now. Now, we're going to talk about this a little bit more momentarily, but not to get this confused with the state Fulton County RICO case that is going on, the YSL Young Thug trial that's going on in Atlanta right now. When the feds typically bring a RICO, they're bringing a real RICO. There's going to be money to be followed. There's typically they're going to have all their ducks in a row where they've got you took someone's, especially if there's taking people across state lines in order that they, you could do what you want to do with them. So they're going to have all of these things, all their ducks in a row. If there's pews, hanging around, whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? If you dealing in hallucinogenics that are not legal, all of that stuff is going to be here. Now, this is the thing. They wanted to get him before, I think this is alleged. This is my opinion here at this juncture. This alleged. My opinion is they wanted to get him hemmed up and locked up quickly because they have found out that people either on his behalf or he himself, maybe at his bidding, maybe not, we'll all find out at the end of the day, were beginning to reach out to the victims. Okay. If you might remember, we were hearing that he was reaching out to that he or people on his behalf were reaching out to the victims, and they did not want these people who have, I'm guessing, potentially, possibly, allegedly, it would make sense that they didn't want these people who were, going to be having to be testifying for them to get cold feet or for them to get paid off. Because as I'm sure you all have heard by now, other celebrities that are showcased in these illicit, illegal, disgusting tapes, those celebrities are reaching out, that 120, the Busby, the Busby clients, 120, that is, I think, significantly male. And even more significantly, there's, I think, at least nine minors involved in that. group. So those celebrities that were at these things and did these rituals and are are appearing in these videos, they are trying to settle before their names get out. So I think that they picked him up because, you know, this other thing they were doing. His team very intelligently was letting the FBI know where he was, the AUSA know where he was, where he was traveling to, blah, 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 blah. They're being all forthcoming with all this information. Also, I think that they were doing that to kind of lull folks into a bit of a thinking that they were getting over on the feds. If we tell you all this, then surely you'll let him out on bail. That's what they were counting on. And I vacillate back and forth between whether or not I think they ever would have truly let him out on bail. But if it is true that different folks were getting reached out to, and there was a potential of either witness tampering or some of these folks rescinding they're saying, I don't think I want to testify, I think that would have been a reason to pick him up. So, and for that reason, and we found that out from one of the previous bail hearings as well. So I'm not telling y'all something that I'm pulling out of my behind. Like, this is like the real story, right? So this is what they themselves have said. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So that being said, those actions right there are going to be like, we're not letting you out. Because see, we can control your conversations and we can monitor your conversations right here, but we're not going to let you out. I don't think there's any way he's ever going to, no. Okay. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnafilo, said that they will put on a defense case that will likely take a week. You know what, guys? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that if you feel like, do you all really think that, put a 1 in the chat if you think that these are going to be held to 3 weeks for the prosecution, only 1 week for the defense. Put a 2 in the chat if you're like, no, this is going to take a lot longer than that. Hey, Miss Gathers, Love and Light. You were saying the same thing, yeah. So put a 1 in the chat, guys, on X, on Facebook, on YouTube. If you think that the whole case is only going to take a month to try, or put a 2 in the chat if you think it's going to take longer. Yeah, Jace, I don't see this. No, I ain't with it. This ain't going to take no month. Maybe y'all think it will. I don't know. I can't see it. Okay, yeah, Miss Gather says 2. I don't know. What do y'all think over here on X? What do you think on Facebook? But Beta, your YouTube is down? Oh, no. Okay, honey. All right, no problem. It's at Heart of Inspiration on X. At Heart of INSP on X as well. At HEARTOFINS. All right. Okay. Yeah, Volvo. Yeah, you say yeah. I think it's gonna take longer than that. I mean, that's a nice thought. Hello, Alchemy Tone. Okay. Oh, hello. Oh, good. I can see what's going on over here too. That's great. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's get back to the conversation here. The judge Arun Subramanian. Wow, that's a lot. Also said that that's a heck of a name. Also said he will issue an order barring both sides from making statements about secret grand jury material and other non-public evidence in the case. He asked Combs' lawyer to draft a proposal. I think that lets me know that I think that confirms for us that Cassie video was indeed a leak from the feds. I think that confirms to me that that video was a leak, which we all thought it was anyway. But anyway, the order comes after Combs' attorney on Wednesday filed a motion accusing the government of leaking a video of the hip-hop mogul beating his former girlfriend to CNN. They did not provide evidence. Hours later, Damian Williams, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, wrote to the judge that, quote, the government was not in possession of the video before its publication by CNN. So there is no factual basis for Combs's attorney's assertion. CNN declined to comment. Okay. All right, boo-boo. So some hotel worker maintained it and kept it, gave it to Cassie. Maybe they did. I don't know. But that just, okay, whatever. The 2016 surveillance video published exclusively by CNN in May shows Combs dragging and kicking his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. He had initially denied those allegations. We saw that already. Okay, Combs' lawyer's motion on Wednesday further asked the judge to consider barring the footage from the trial. And Johnson on Thursday called the motion a means to try to exclude a damning piece of evidence. The judge said he'd make a decision about a potential hearing regarding the alleged media leaks after reading the legal arguments. So the judge is taking all this into account. So he's trying to see, okay, what are we going to do? And are we going to exclude that hotel video? That's pretty big. What else? This is his third. I don't know why Judge Andrew Carter recused himself. I need to find that out. They want to go to trial quickly since he was twice denied bail. So his next appearance is on December 18th. So what we have now, guys, at this point, what we have now is the trial date has been set, barring additional folk. The trial date has been set for May the 5th of 2023. I do also see more people being added, especially as more information comes out as a result of the other suits. But I get a bad vibe about that Busby lawyer. You know, I know a lot of people have some thoughts on that particular person. I don't have any thoughts just yet. I think my only thought at this point is this. I wish these people had filed these suits before he got arrested and indicted, arraigned, whatever. Because at this point, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into the civil versus the criminal and all of these things. You'd want to wait till after a criminal trial in order to then usually like really push your civil through. I don't think that he has as much money now as he used to. There's so much here. So I don't know if those people will ever get justice, except for, I guess, if he's found criminally liable. I don't have a bad feeling about the man yet. I'll let you know if I do. Okay. Hey, Red Violet, how are you? So I do see more people being added. I do think that that's a thing. On that note, let's talk about Miss Thalia Graves. At this point, this is trigger warning. I also want to shout out Make It Make Sense Mims. Let me put his. I'm going to put a link to the video that I'm talking about in the chat, but I'm also going to link we're going to have a way deeper discussion about this video that he did yesterday, a way deeper discussion about that. So that's why I'm hoping to get back on tonight, because make it make sense. Here we go. Because I'm going to tell you something. What he exposed yesterday in regard to the victim blaming that's going on. Here's the copy. Let me copy. Here's Mims's video. So I want y'all to go watch this before we chit chat tonight, because I'm going to be highlighting this. Shout out to Make It Make Sense. Shout out to Mims. I mean, I remember when he's just doing it. He's crushing it over there. He's crushing it. Let me go back and hit these comments. The difference is not too much different because I'm doing it other than that, then depending on, I mean, there's depending on situation versus court order, right? I think for me, where I have an issue, here's his video on YouTube. This is the Make It Make Sense video on YouTube. And please give him a subscribe. He's on the road to 200K. I have a big problem with how we are starting to potentially blame the victim when it's pretty clear that she was the victim. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is pretty darn clear. And I think she's probably the easiest one for us to, if you're going to try to blame a victim, she's probably the easiest one. So if y'all don't know who exactly I'm talking about, let's see if I can get a picture. You know what? I don't like this one. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do the baller alert one. If you guys don't remember, you may remember seeing this. Was it 2 weeks ago now, guys? Somebody can tell me. About 2 weeks ago, when Gloria Allred did a news conference with Thalia Graves. She did this with Thalia Graves. I'm going to make this way bigger so you guys can read it when it's time for us to read. So that's Gloria Allred is in the blue. Thalia is in the white there. You guys should probably recognize Gloria Allred. She, God, didn't she represent, what's her name? Oh God, who is it that owes 50 that money that was on that darn Love and Hip Hop LA? Y'all know who I'm talking about. I can see that child's face. Anyway, she's represented quite a few kind of bigger name, high profile women. Okay, females that have said that they have had, they have been essayed or something along those lines. She really came to kind of fame though way back in the day. I'm gonna take you in the way back machine. Way back in the day with the Scott Peterson case, and Amber Fry, the mistress of Scott Peterson, got retained her because when the investigation was going on, then she realized Scott had been lying to her, and there was a whole thing. Like, that's when we first kind of really heard, at least I did, about Gloria Allred. She's represented quite a few women since then. I'm going to be at 1000% here. When this happened, and I hate to say it, I don't think that I believed her, Thalia. And you know why I didn't feel like I believed her? Tierra Marie, that's that girl's name. She represented Tierra Marie as well. I think, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Because there have been a number of Gloria Allred's clients in the last 20, 30 years, right? 20 years, 30 years now, that have proven to not be being truthful. Either they proved to not be truthful, or Gloria actually never really got them a dang on thing anyway. It didn't do them no good to have her. Like it seemed to me like she just wanted the fame and she really didn't do anything. But yes, Sabby Bean, too many iffy cases. Too many iffy cases. And then when I'm watching the whole thing, I'm like, yes, she became a gimmick. Yes. When I'm watching this, I'm like, I don't know if I hate to say it too, because I don't like to disbelieve the victim or the one that's presenting as the victim. But I do also think that we have a responsibility to the accused to at least kind of, just weigh it out a little bit. So I'm being honest. Like I didn't. And my bad, there's a lot of things that has been going on with me. So I didn't even get a chance to read the complaint. But once I was listening to the complaint as Mims was reading it last night, my whole attitude has changed. Plus, my attitude has changed because of this. Thalia Grace, who recently filed a lawsuit accusing Diddy of R-ing and recording the act, is now being accused of trying to bribe her ex-boyfriend with a 7-figure offer to support her claims. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly where I disbelieve whether or not I don't think the woman tried to bribe the ex-boyfriend even before I saw Mims's live last night. Right here, this statement. TMZ. I just needed those 3 letters. TMZ. You kiss my behind. I already don't believe you. It's a wrap. We're done. Has obtained text messages that suggest Graves was willing to pay $3 million to her former boyfriend if he agreed to corroborate her story. The lawsuit filed against Diddy and his former head of security, Joseph Big Joe Sherman, alleges that Graves was R-ed by the music mogul in 2001. So this is well before all of the 2008 situations, and beyond. And this, now here's another side, because we talked about this before. This is when Gene Deal would have been around, right? We can talk about this later on, but this is when Gene Deal would have been around. I gotta get moving here. Okay. Graves claims to her then boyfriend, who worked for Diddy at the time, was shown a recording of the alleged incident. However, text exchanged between Graves and her ex in November of 2023, well before she ever filed this, guys. She just filed this. So when she's thinking about it, as all of these things are getting, and if you might recall, November of 2023, wasn't that around the time that Cassie filed her suit? So she was considering this back in last November. Reveal a different side of the story. According to the text, and I'm going to tell you something, this to me is not, when you read the text, hopefully they have them here. When you read the text, I don't agree with this at all. I don't think this is what was happening. According to the text, Graves openly stated that she planned to sue Diddy, quote, because he's the one that has the money. And if I gotta choose, can we just be real for a second? If I gotta choose between someone that has the money that did something to me and the statute of limitations criminally has already expired, and someone that ain't got no money, I'm not mad at her. She planned to sue Diddy because he's the one that has the money. She then reportedly offered the man $3 million to testify that he had seen the alleged video. That is nowhere in the text. In one of the texts, Grave appears to ask her ex directly, "What do you think of $3 million after discussing the case?" The man who confirmed the text authenticity to TMZ says he interpreted the message as an attempt to bribe him into supporting her accusations. Now, we're going to talk about Mims's video. We're going to react to it a little bit later on, hopefully tonight, if I can stay up. This is my thing. That ain't even remotely what was said. Not even close. He shared that after receiving the text, he promptly blocked her on all platforms, cutting off communication, which is also a lie. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team has reportedly obtained copies of these same messages and may use them to challenge Graves' credibility in court. Joseph Sherman, who is also named in the suit, has publicly stated he never met Graves, was not employed by Diddy during the time of the alleged suit. I do believe that he doesn't know who she is. I haven't seen it and don't want to see it. So maybe he doesn't know who she is. Maybe she's mistaken as to who was there. I don't know. Thalia Graves' attorney Gloria Allred responded to the recent claims by stating it is very common that rich, powerful men and their supporters, TMZ, attempt to discredit, shame, and humiliate accusers who have the courage to come forward. The complaint speaks for itself, and our client is looking forward to her day in court. With Diddy's team now armed with evidence that could undermine Graves' case, this legal battle is bound to draw even more attention in the coming months. Both sides appear ready for a fierce courtroom showdown as Graves seeks justice and Diddy fights to clear his name. Well, Mr. Sean Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Combs, I won't call you Brother Love. You got a lot more to worry about than that. Hello? Hey, Savannah, how you doing? TMZ is the new Inquirer. And I mean, and they the biggest snitch. Anyway, so I don't know how much they're getting paid. I don't know how much they're getting paid. Sorry, my team is getting in touch with me. I'm done. So we'll talk about this later. The one thing I do want to say about this Thalia Graves situation is this. I don't have a problem with us investigating things further. I don't have a problem with us not necessarily believing initially, right? Especially when you're represented. If I could say anything to anyone that is going to sue anyone in civil court, do not get Ben Crump, please. I'm not going to believe you. And if you get Benjamin Crump, I don't believe you. Like out the gate, I don't believe you. He ain't. I'm a side eye you because of Gloria Allred. There's probably a few others I'm going to side eye you. So your representation makes a difference. Who's representing you? What I do have an issue with, though, is if we don't read the complaints and we don't read the filings so that we can get a better idea of what they are swearing under oath to in affidavits, because all these complaints and the pleadings are going to include a sworn affidavit. Always, or a sworn declaration. That's always, right? It has to accompany the filings. You could usually get a real good grip on what is really going on when you see the affidavits or the pleadings. Lisa Bloom, that's the other one. Thank you. Was it Lisa Bloom that represented what's her name, Tierra Marie, or was it Gloria? Whichever one. That's, I mean, whole thing, Mr. Take That. I know. So, what I feel it's incumbent upon us, especially now, what ends up happening is a lot of us have like Pacer accounts. A lot of us, I'll go and get county accounts if I really want to see a filing or whatever for a local county if it's not federal, which would be on Pacer. So, we'll get them, we'll download them, we'll share them with you guys. So I would say you got to read it. What I have a problem with is that then once you're presented with not only the pleadings, but when you go and watch that video, again, I'm going to put it in the thing, in the chat, and I'm going to put it's in the chats. Go watch Mims's video. Make it make sense on YouTube. Make it make sense now on Instagram. When you watch it, you look at the text messages, because he has the text messages. He showed the text messages in full. You see that she wasn't trying to bribe bruh man at all. He was trying to keep his name out the mix because, spoiler alert, it comes out later on that he was the third person involved in the Jane Doe essay when Jane Doe was 17 years old and got flown across state lines, brutalized, and then flown back after she had been rugged and brutalized. So he had more reason to keep the ex had more reason to keep his name out of the thing. I just want us to stop, to stop automatically saying that these people didn't do, like, standing up for them. Oh, they're here. They're just trying to take the black man down, this, that, and the other. There are some cases where it's really suspect. Why, the timing of a criminal charge. But in this case, guys, especially if those 1,000 bottles of baby oil turn out to be 1,000 bottles of GHB, we got problems. So I want us as both men, and this isn't just, men and women. This isn't just men. I want us as women as well to really start to seek out why it is we're not believing people. I mean, I told you my thing, right? But I told you my issues. I kept my options open, and once I saw the complaint, saw everything else, took it in totality, now I believe her. So there's that. All right, next on the docket. Next on the docket is, thanks guys for staying. I really appreciate you guys. I would love for you all to please hit the like over here on X. Please hit the like and let people know that we're doing these lives. I'm gonna try to come to you if I can't. I'm gonna try to come every day and just, even if it's for an hour, just to kind of talk about what's been going on that day, and so we can kind of discuss it and go through it, and I can give you a little bit of my energetic take. The other thing I want to say before I close out the whole Diddy situation is this. We've been talking about for years about an attack on the feminine. There's been a lot of attack on the divine feminine, even from within femininity. Okay, because there is toxic femininity, just like there's toxic masculinity. But we don't want, nobody wants to talk about. But I will. There's toxic femininity, just like there's toxic masculinity. That's toxic just means they're out of balance. There are plenty of women running around here that are out of freaking balance. And there are a lot of women that have wrongly accused men of essaying them and ruin their careers and ruin their lives and their families. And that's not right either. We can't have that. Okay. So we have to take accountability and responsibility for that as well. So when we see these celebrities that all of us, I think from the 90s, I was born in 68. So I was an adult. I was outside in the mid to late 80s, right? I was in college in the mid 80s. By the 90s, I'm well outside. This ain't nothing new. Okay. So my point to that is this. We always knew something was wrong with Diddy. We had to know a little something was going on with Mr. R. Kelly. Not some of his stuff, man. But I lived in Chicago when that tape was going around. I can remember being on the L going home from work at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening, child, and there's people on the L train talking about, I got that R. Kelly tape. So we knew. There's a lot of stuff we knew. I've talked to y'all before about, we knew that Will and Jada was swinging and doing all kinds of stuff. We've known some stuff we didn't know, and some stuff I'm like, how did we not? So it doesn't shock me when all these things come out now. It shocks me the depravity and the depth, but the fact that it happened don't shock me at all. But another thing is we didn't really have any power to do that much, and honestly, people were not listening to women when we said that things were happening, or children, or men. Certainly, if you were a man and you were essayed, you must have wanted it. You must be gay. And I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So, and people don't also recognize that it really is really within the last 20 years, 20 to 25 years, that we really started getting strong DV protection for women and children. Um, that we had stalking laws. Like, it was not till 2000 before Wisconsin had its first real stalking law. So this is recent. So when the young kids are like, how did they, no, y'all don't understand, this is recent. So all these things are coming to light, and there's going to be more. So we're on a 10-10 day where there's a lot of different things that hopefully you've been able to end some cycles in your life. 10-10-8 tells me that hopefully there's negative financial cycles that have ended in your life, that any cycles that are keeping you from abundance are ending in your life, or things that you thought were going to be abundant and now you're finding out ain't. And on that note, we're gonna one other thing I want to do before we move on to Mounk Tounk, and then we will move on to our discussion regarding the hurricanes. This weekend from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific, both on October 12th and 13th, I am hosting right here on everywhere you're seeing me right now. So it'll be on X, it'll be on Facebook, and it will be on YouTube. I will also be broadcasting on Rumble, and you can actually get into the studio back here, into the StreamYard studio, when you go to soulfulreconnection.net and register. General admission tickets for this 2-day transformative virtual summit are free. The VIP tickets, guys, are $29. And I want to let you know that $20 of every $29 VIP ticket is going to Hurricane Helene relief here in Western North Carolina. Okay. So you guys, it'll be on these platforms, but just know that you will not be able to get access to the free gifts. I have 9 other women who are a part of the who are part of Lightworker Academy, which I'm the founder and CEO of. And they are all bringing to you, and they interact with us in different ways, but they're all bringing to you their expertise from professional and personal development. And I'll be speaking as well. We'll have panel discussions. It's going to be a great weekend. So come on out, support the hurricane victims, get some free gifts, get some VIP gifts as well, and also do something wonderful for your fellow person. All right. Let us discuss Mounk Tounk, shall we? So I don't know how many of you all have been watching the YSL trial. I will tell you what is really crazy to me about this whole YSL situation, child. These people they have no trial. So this is a RICO trial gone mad. I mean, this is a RICO trial that I don't know is deficient. They bipolar. I don't know what's going on. They just wanted to make Fulton County, in my humble opinion, just wanted to make a name for themselves. I don't feel like they really, I mean, honest to Pete, why y'all mess with Young Thug? Y'all just want to make a name for yourself. It didn't really mean nothing, this is disgusting. Anyway, so if you were watching the trial, I don't know that the gentleman's going to be here, but Mounk Tounk is one of the big the major. He's the old head. He's an OG, all right, and he was one of the state's key witnesses He got on the stand and basically said, listen, y'all wrote that stuff down. I told y'all it wasn't true. But in order for me to get out of jail right around the Christmas time, December 28th, his grandmother was seriously ill, had passed away, I think, shortly thereafter. He's got like a gang of kids, a bunch of kids, children, and he wanted to get out. He didn't want to be sitting there for these like 2 years. This is December 28th, 2022. He just testified. He would have been sitting in jail this whole entire time in Rice County, or in Rice County Jail, Rice Street County Jail. So he testifies, takes a few days to testify, whatnot, so on and so forth. But he and they even brought his lawyer up there, and his lawyer was like, "Listen, we asked you to change stuff, you wouldn't change it." He's saying now, which I don't understand why it's so hard for anybody to believe, that people, when they are interrogated by the police, don't tell the truth. Like, what? That people, when interrogated by the police, don't tell the truth. That's shocking, isn't it? I know, I was shocked. I was so surprised. Like, what? I'm not interested. Oh my God. Okay. And also people will sign things just so they can get out of jail. I know that's shocking. Wow. Anyway, so he comes up there, he's 40 some odd years old. He's like, listen, I'm not trying to lie on these young bucks. I did not say none of this. They ain't had nothing to do with none of this. I did everything on my own. Like, these people don't even know how gangs work. It's crazy to me. Like, it's not like anyway. So Mounk goes up there, and he was on 30 months of probation. He knew potentially that he could get sent, that they would literally revoke his probation. But he testified, though, to the best of his knowledge and as truthful as he could. It's just that they wanted him to testify to lies. Here we go, Atlanta, Georgia. Fulton County prosecutors overseeing Young Thug's internationally watched judicial proceeding have filed a motion to revoke the probation of Antonio Sledge, aka Mounk, only weeks after he testified for several days in Atlanta's trial of the 21st century. If this is the trial of the 21st century, we're in trouble. The motion was filed by Fulton County Chief Deputy District Attorney Adam Abadi. It says Sledge, quote, directly contradicted the special conditions of his plea agreement by disavowing the factual acknowledgments he had sworn were accurate and true during the plea hearing on December 28th of 2022. End quote. Quote, it is evident that the defendant knowingly and willfully violated the special conditions of his negotiated plea agreement with the intent to disrupt the trial of this case. Therefore, the state of Georgia requests that this petition to revoke probation be scheduled for an evidentiary hearing, and that the defendant be ordered to appear before this court to explain why his probated sentence should not be revoked in its entirety. Sledge had worked as head of security for Young Thug's YSL, Young Slime Life, or Young Stoner Life record label. Court documents show Sledge acknowledged YSL as a group of 3 or more members that, among other things, allegedly committed crimes to increase the group's notoriety and street credibility. But during his testimony, Weeks Sledge backtracked these statements and said YSL is not a gang, which is nothing different than about 5 or 6 other people who supposedly all were like the original members of YSL long before Young Thug, all have said. Sledge was repeatedly hammered by Fulton County District Attorney Adrian Love on his previous statement to police about an April 28, 2015 drive-by shooting, and he repeatedly used a phrase that already made famous by Kenneth Copeland, aka Little Woody, in his testimony, I don't recall. At one point during his testimony, Sledge said he was mentally exhausted. This stuff you keep asking me, all this stuff that you keep asking me, my brain is just everywhere, he said. I may have to go see somebody after this court thing. Like Copeland, another one of the prosecution's star witness, Sledge had a plea agreement after pleading guilty to conspiracy to violate RICO and possession of firearm by a convicted felon. This is Milton. This is ADA Love, while she's, in her preacher microphone holding mode. So this is the thing. I want to just bring that to the forefront just to say this, guys. Um, I think, what ends up happening to people. I'm not saying that he's, you know, a pillar of the community. I think he's turned his life around a great deal. I think he's trying to do the right thing now. I think he's trying to do the right thing by his kids. A lot of times what we're finding is these men, when they get on the stand, and sometimes I think this is almost them trying to embarrass these men, but we'll find out that none of, like, I don't think any of them yet, the key witnesses, have graduated high school. They may have a GED now, but I know they didn't graduate high school. Most of them have dropped out, by the 8th grade or the 10th grade. Um, there was someone just last week or week before last, I guess now it's hard to say, um, has sickle cell, and he said he can't read. And they chose not to really show the entirety um of the interrogation, where basically the officers are telling him what to write, and his lettering is like an elementary school lettering, so it's not good. I just I think this is showcasing what happens in our justice system, what's happening, like that the school to prison pipeline is real. What's happening, what's not happening in the education of our young people, what hasn't been happening in our educational system for decades, and yet we're still like asking for them to do something that's not going to happen. Clearly, it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened, and God knows when. So I don't know what governmental agency you think is going to actually educate these children, but clearly a Department of Education ain't doing nothing. Clearly, local, urban, and I would even say suburban educational systems aren't doing anything. Like, it's broken. It's broken. Now, as far as this goes with, and the justice system then going to railroad you, right? So this man and other people have now said, listen, I said whatever I need to say to get out of that room and hopefully get a deal so I could get and go home. But they could never corroborate anything that was said, anything that ever, they could never find any physical evidence to tie these men, especially Young Thug, to these different situations and to make this a gang. And so it's just sad to see it. So this trial's been going on for 140 some odd days. I do encourage you, if you do get the opportunity, kind of jump in. My good girly, Kat Not Williams, my really good girlfriend, Kat Not Williams. Let me make it make sense in here. Let me go to his home. Okay, this is Make It Make Sense. Here we go. We're going to put his information in here. That's Mims. I want you guys to subscribe to Mims's YouTube, and Kat Not Williams on YouTube. Y'all tell her I shouted her out. It's my girl. This is my good girlie. She's so fun. So she's not a lawyer, but it's really cool to she does really good stuff. And then also don't forget Thugger Daily on both X on X. Thugger Daily on X. Okay, in the last few minutes I've got here, because I gotta go. I'm having summit practice. We are going to talk about, hey, Gray Pill, salute to you. Good afternoon, good evening. Let's talk about Hurricane Milton, please. And we will also talk about what's still going on with Hurricane Helene. Let me tell y'all, I found this extremely intense yesterday when we were staring at Hurricane Milton. This was like last night, so I'm just whatever. Forbes, go away. I'm gonna just really subscribe probably to one of these things one day. Hurricane Milton. So listen, what was going on was really crazy to me. So the more than 3 million homes and businesses were without power earlier today. They've restored a lot of power though in Florida. Like they were really ready. Shout out to Governor Ron DeSantis for really having things ready to go and that response like ready to hit it. I'm in awe. In great contrast to what's happening here in North Carolina. As Hurricane Milton continues to pull away from Florida as a Category 1 storm. Now, this hurricane, if you notice, did exactly what hurricanes are supposed to do. It did not strengthen when it got over land. We'll talk about that another day. Spawning multiple tornadoes and major flooding as it moved through the state overnight. So, yes, so today at 11 a.m., it had moved 135 miles east-northeast of Cape Canaveral. In the 11 a.m., well, it's going this way. So basically, it made landfall just after 12:30 a.m. Eastern today. Strong winds. There was like cranes that collapsed and electrical lines down and all that kind of good stuff that was going on. But I'm going to tell you the other thing that I want you guys, if you guys can get a chance to see, I don't like this, get a chance to see some of the pictures, especially on X. What was happening is the eye of the storm, the eye wall itself started breaking down once it got to landfall. It started to kind of break apart. And when it breaks apart, then it doesn't have as much strength. So the wind was nowhere near as strong. And then what normally happens with a tsunami is like the water gets sucked away from the shoreline, and then it like builds up and you get this like huge like tsunami, right? Water wall. The water got sucked away. We still don't know how. We still don't know why. And then as the eye wall was breaking apart, that actually ended up lessening the storm surge. So Tampa Bay was not completely washed away with a huge wall. So it was a significant storm. Don't get me wrong. However, it was nowhere near what they thought it was going to be. And it definitely weakened before landfall. The storm surge, as initially reported, has not been as significant overall as what was observed for Hurricane Helene. So there was a greater storm surge for Hurricane Helene. The total number of casualties of the storm, DeSantis said Thursday, it seems likely there would be some with the tornadoes in St. Lucia County. Confirmed there were at least 4 deaths in the tornadoes in the area, but his office is not confirmed. He was gonna visit St. Lucia today. Yeah, it was the storm surge was supposed to be 13 feet high. Like that's insane. So it's really I'm not even gonna deal with the politicization of all of this. So okay. So prayers out for those folks. I want to let you know that we're still doing massive cleanup here in North Carolina. We have it's kind of crazy because like even people that are trying to buy water and things to take over to the western side of the state. Yeah, it's not, we're being told, oh, you can't do that because, hoarding and whatever. Nobody's trying to hoard anything. We're trying to take it over there. So, And we still really, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Most of the cities, most of the towns and stuff in the Appalachians, most of them have not seen a FEMA person. Or if they do, they're not really doing anything. I saw a report earlier today that they've spent less than 1% of the allocated funds because they just got some more money allocated. That's supposed to solely be going towards disaster relief, and they've only spent less than 1% of it. And that was allocated on the 26th of September. So, I don't know, but we are still locally doing things. We are still rebuilding. There's bulldozers and cranes and other things that I don't even know what to call them. That are, all kinds of construction and stuff like that. Um, they're trying to rebuild. They're trying to rebuild, and we're doing what we can to help them. Okay, so you see scrolling around the bottom of the screen here, soulfulreconnection.net. It is going to be a 2-day virtual summit. If you go to that website, you'll see everything about it. All the speakers are from lightworkeracademy.net in some way, shape, form, or fashion. They're affiliated with us. So they're all clients of mine. So I'm super excited and super proud of each and every one of these women. They've achieved things on their own, in their own right, in their own ways. But they, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really wonderful. So I'm super excited for this to happen. And $20 of every VIP. So if you can afford the $29 for the VIP ticket, $20 of every VIP ticket is going to the Helene victims. I've located about 3 different churches that are local and that are getting equipment and supplies and medical needs all to the victims. So, and in some cases, even cash, so that they can kind of like begin to get some cash flowing again and buy some things if, like gas and other things when they can get to the gas, when they can get to it. So I would really appreciate it. It is going to be on YouTube. So we'll be here Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be here on X and on Facebook. But if you want to get the free gifts that myself and my folks have created for you, resources, and then the VIP gifts, you do need to go on and sign up. And if you do that, you'll be able to get backstage into the studio backstage in StreamYard. Okay, guys, I'm going to get going. Thanks so much for being here. I very much appreciate you all. If I can get things done in a timely fashion, we're going to pop back on and I want to talk about this. What's this energy about, victim blaming, victim shaming? Why are we less likely to believe the victims? And what can we do about it? All right, guys. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys so much. Namaste.